Mm.
Of course, I was talking on mute. How are you? Good evening.
Oh, I was on mute too.
Woohoo!
This. So there's probably a little noisy in the background. So I'm at City Life and we're hosting a drive-in movie night today.
Cool.
So yeah, a lot of excitement out there. Could you hear like the movie playing in the background, or they're testing it? Could you hear any of that noise?
No, all is well.
Good.
Yeah, I hunkered up in my basement. Today's my twin boy's 14th birthday, so they're a little rambunctious today, and
Oh, that's fun. 14.
That's a fun age.
Yeah, that's a fun age. Mine's already 16, 17, about to turn 18 and 17 in about a few months. So I feel like I have no kids anymore. They don't want to be around me. They don't want to do anything with me.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Okay. So,
So I'm going to apologize ahead of time. So I hunkered up in the basement here, and it seems like my VPN just drops for no reason once in a blue moon. So if I get disconnected, I don't know what's going on. I'll jump back on, but I've been pretty solid so far for the last 45 minutes. So I think it was just going through some. I took some updates on my laptop too and rebooted. So I think I'm okay, but just in case.
yeah. And just Tony, we did email some questions that were sent to us. You don't have to answer all today. Do you have those, or do you need me to?
No, I got you. I got the answers for most of them. So I'll address them. I got some good stuff to go over too. Just informational stuff for everybody.
Sounds good. So I know it's 6 o'clock, but we're gonna give it a few minutes because there's still people joining us. I know it takes time. There's just a few more people logging on, so let me just admit them and then we could begin. Okay. Could everyone hear me? Yeah, okay, good, all right. So we're gonna start 6:06. I mean, there's still people that are logging on, but I have my assistant here, Maria Agosto, say hi. So she'll just kind of be letting people in as we go. So there's a lot of information to share, so I want to start on time. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Again, I'm Councilwoman J.Santana, and I welcome you to our Ward 14 virtual community meeting. I wish we could all meet in person, but we want to ensure everyone's health first. These meetings that we are hosting, they're to provide updates, on local resources, housing opportunities, internet information, and any city services. And so really they're resources that are for our local residents of Ward 14. Today, we're excited. We have a featured speaker, and that they're going to be discussing internet in our neighborhood. We realized after the pandemic, right, that it wasn't no longer a luxury to have internet services. So we wanted to invite them so that they could share their wonderful partnership with our office. But before I let our guests introduce themselves, I want to make sure that you are aware that this is our first virtual community meeting. So we haven't quite figured it out. So if you have any questions, please try to type them in our chat. Otherwise, you'll probably have to call my office after our meeting, and then I could get a response to you. Or you could email it to mmiranda@clevelandcitycouncil.org. But once again, we're still trying to figure it out. Hopefully by the next meeting, it'll be a little bit more interactive, and then you're able to to speak online and then ask your question or just kind of have a dialogue with my office. So now, before I share any updates regarding our office and what we're doing, I want to turn it over to our special guest, Tony from AT&T, and possibly I think they have some staff from Digital C.
Thank you, Councilwoman Santana, for the invitation, and thanks for the opportunity to be here with all of you, albeit under different circumstances, as Councilwoman noted. My name is Tony Constanzo. I grew up in Ward 14. I still remember my old address at 3414 Poe Avenue. So I went to Blessed Sacrament School, and my parents decided they were going to move as a teenager that I was, and I think I got in a little bit of trouble there, but who didn't, right? So I've been with AT&T now for about 20 years. I started off as a technician, going into people's homes, installing and repairing phone service, internet, dial tone, you name it, into businesses and residential homes. Became a manager in the UVerse department in 2011 and was part of a little thing that Cleveland hosted called the RNC in 2016. So I project managed that from 2015 through the convention's end, which was successful and had a lot of great memories to talk about, maybe in another meeting. But it was quite an experience, and I'd love to do it again. And then after that, I went over to our engineering construction side, where I was a project manager for 4 years until I recently became the external affairs spokesperson. I took over for Nikki Jaworski effective on June 1st of this year. So I have a very diverse background with the telephone company, with AT&T, so a lot of knowledge, and hopefully I can answer most of your questions that you may have. And if I don't have answers, I will get back to Councilwoman Santana or Maria with answers for you. So I'm sure many of you, like many of us at AT&T, continue to both both work and do everything from home. and may be curious about how AT&T's network's been performing during the pandemic. So the broadband networks we depended on for FaceTime with loved ones, to collaborate with teachers on homework and to attend classes, and to Zoom into office meetings like this one, have performed very well under extreme heavy loads that we've had. So despite predictions that America's broadband infrastructure would buckle, it hasn't. So there are several reports that internet traffic jumped about 27% at the crisis of the COVID, but the country's broadband networks rose to the challenge. So that's no accident. Due to decades of bipartisan government policies like those in Ohio, promoted the private sector investment that produced in this result. So in case you didn't catch, there was a press release we had earlier this month. We announced our latest investment figures for the city of Cleveland. So I was part of that involvement. We call our fiber overbuild project, which between the years of 2017 and 2019, we pumped about $375 million in our wireless and wireline networks here to expand coverage and improve connectivity. So Cleveland is on the map, and we have been investing a lot into our infrastructure. Included in that is the 5G Plus in Cleveland. So we're starting the 5G Plus build now as we speak, and it will continue for the next 3 to 4 years. It's not an overnight project, so I do ask for patience. As we say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and there's a lot of infrastructure and a lot of territory to cover. So that's one of the things, patience is key. The 5G technology and the new millimeter wave spectrum, as we call 5G Plus, will give you experiences in iconic destination key venues. So you'll notice faster download speeds. You'll stream things a lot more smoother. The only downside on this, and I'm going to warn you, is the devices that are sold in the market right now that support 5G are very few. I think there's only a couple phones or devices that support 5G as we speak now. So our 4G LTE network is still working seamlessly, and it's important though that we upgrade to 5G to keep up with technology. So much like 4G introduced the world to the gig economy, we believe that mobile 5G will jumpstart the next wave of unforeseen innovation. So the combination of lower latency, massive connectivity, and faster speeds will ultimately be available with 5G. It's creating opportunities to transform retail, make autonomous vehicles a reality, make it possible to build smart factories, and revolutionize healthcare. So due to this COVID stuff, a good example would be a lot of elders or just regular folks like you and I have had to do virtual doctor visits where the doctor's office were closed when the pandemic really hit. So those who had smartphones were able to do that, but I felt terrible. My parents were involved in this. Cleveland Clinic patients, they couldn't do any visits and didn't have a smartphone or device. So son of the year came over and got my dad a smartphone. I bought him an iPhone, and it's a work in progress because he, his digital literacy isn't exactly up to par. So he struggles a little bit. He thinks you have to put your finger through the phone to make it work with the touch glass screen. So he's getting there, but he's learned to do some great things. He's got the My Chart app on there to look up his stuff, and there's a lot of great things on there. So to explain what lower latency is, think of this as the time you hit the enter key until you get a response. So your response time will be quicker with lower latency. Massive connectivity, this is the ability to connect virtual everything as we go from hundreds of thousands of things connected in every square meter. Faster speeds that will improve many things we already do today as seen as things evolve, and streaming services and all that good stuff too. So of course our 5G and ongoing investments in Cleveland are only part of our story. We have thousands of employees to thank for these network improvements. So when you do see these guys out there working, they're trying to maintain stuff and do things, it's a thankless job, and I've done it, especially going into people's home in the midst of this pandemic. Folks are wondering, well, is this guy healthy? Should I let him in my house? Does he have a mask? These guys are trying to make it happen and trying to provide you services that are crucial. So during the pandemic, our technician installers, internal business units have continued to do sometimes grueling work. The work it takes to keep our networks up and running. So if there's outages or down wires from a storm, they're out there doing it. So kudos to them. I tip my hat to them. I did the job, so I know, working up on the pole 20-some feet in the air sometimes can be challenging. While we're talking about commitment to all of Cleveland's citizens, you may be already familiar with an initiative we launched last summer called Believe Cleveland. So through Believe Cleveland, our employees chose to channel our time and talent into efforts that would boost local residents' digital skills and turn their job, and in turn, their job prospects. So for example, employees have talked to their career paths before groups organized by Youth Opportunity Unlimited. We've also volunteered at job fairs that included resume and interview training for participants. In addition, our companies contributed more than $630,000 to organizations that are already successful in the area of digital literacy so they can achieve even more. And some of the partners we've teamed up with is Digital C, Urban League, Tri-C, NAACP, Cleveland Water Alliance, Cleveland Library, Esperanza, City Club, and City Year, and the Cleveland Foundation. And one more I wanted to mention was the Ashbury Senior Computer Community Center, to name a few. So we've done a lot and we continue to do more, and we want to get folks connected. We're excited to keep moving forward with our Believe Cleveland plans. Due to the COVID-19, those plans have been slowed down because we've been limited to in-person visits. And now with the governor's mandate, our company thought it was best for the health of our employees and for others to just not do in-person visits. And here you have it. We're doing everything virtually, which is unprecedented times we've fallen on, but we're Clevelanders and we persevere through things like this. So again, thank you for allowing me to bend your ear for a minute. I hope you and your families are healthy, and thank you for the ongoing efforts to lift up the Cleveland community. The few questions that I did get, Councilwoman, I wanted to touch base on was small cells and some 5G concerns. So let me address those real quick. I know, Maria, I sent you, I think, some literature to share with your constituents. So while small cells, have been discussed in the area of your ward, they're not AT&Ts. We don't have any small cells in there yet. So the big towers that you see like along the freeways, those aren't ours. We don't have anything on those. What you're going to see are small cells, which are the little things on the poles that look like there's a thimble on top or whatnot. So Verizon's been putting some of those up. T-Mobile has. We have yet. And the ones, I got a list, Councilwoman, we are going to start this year in this fall deploying a couple on Denison Avenue. And you're not going to see a lot of them in your ward because they cover a lot of area and they cover the pockets of your area that have the most traffic. So we've done studies and they'll cover the high traffic areas in your ward that will require those to sustain the bandwidth that is needed there. So the claims regarding 5G and health concerns have no basis in facts that contradict the findings of some of the stuff that we've seen out there. We call basically just rumors. We've gotten respected healthcare organizations such as the CDC and the National Cancer Institute and scientists in the US and around the world that have done studies on it and contradict those findings that there's any health hazards from those. So I think you're all safe. The FCC is the federal agency responsible for regulating wireless carriers' RF emissions and has adopted a very conservative exposure limits to those to protect the public. So you can, if there's always a concern, you think that there's something, and I can't see if anything is doing something erratic or not functioning properly, but if there's ever any concerns, your first call would probably be to the FCC, and they take those complaints pretty serious. Like I said, while those aren't ours there, your health and your concerns are valid and important. So touch base with the FCC. You could always go on their website and there's I don't want to say a complaint, but there's a link to reach out to them to report those. So, but these limits apply to all wireless carriers and technologies, including 4G and the existing 4G and the new 5G services that are coming. So AT&T's wireless sites, including the small cells, comply with these rigorous FCC standards, and the RF exposure from AT&T's cell sites is significantly below the FCC limit. So the thing is, unfortunately, these claims about the health risks of 5G have spread due to misinterpreted science, and I don't want to say deliberate attempts, but some are backed by news and media outlets that don't verify sources and discourage investment in America by spreading this disinformation. So these claims aren't supported by the consensus of the mainstream science. So I leave it at that. I'm not a scientist, but if the major government agencies are doing studies on this, and they don't want to put folks in harm's way. I believe them, and I think that's, you know, excuse me, scientists are backing that data. So, but I do encourage those who are interested to go to www.wirelesshealthfacts.com to learn more and to validate those studies. So that's all I have about the 5G health concerns. Let me stop right there. I know I've covered a lot. Are there any questions or concerns from what I've covered so far?
Tony, can you share where these towers are located in Ward 14?
We don't have any towers up yet, Councilwoman Santana, but the one that you did relay to me that was over by West 41st and Bush Avenue over there, that is a Verizon small cell tower. Like I mentioned earlier, the ones we're going to start putting up are going to be, and I can forward that information, I got it from our construction folks, are going to be on Denison between West 25th all the way down to, I want to say, the 4600 block of Denison. So they'll be spread out on top of poles, but they haven't been deployed yet. The unfortunate part, and I apologize about this in advance, COVID slowed down our progress on that this year. We've had to scale back a little bit due to the constraints that we've had and the permitting issues and things like that. So we've had some roadblocks, but we're still on pace to get the build done. And like I said, it's going to be about a 4 or 5 year build by the time it's all said and done with the roadblocks that we've had and the COVID and amongst other things. So I also do have some stuff, Councilwoman, that there is a lot of questions about discounted internet and folks registering to get in it. So I do have some literature. Maria, I shared that with you to share it. I can share it on the screen now if you like, if you wanted to give me presenting rights, and I can share what I have. And because there were some questions about the installation and sign up process for the ATT access, which I wanted to cover.
Okay, I just gave you sharing rights.
All right, let me see. Let me get this. Which one is it? Okay, so the AT&T share, access is about getting discounted internet at $10 a month. One of the questions was, you know, is there a credit check on customers? Are there income requirements? Is there a priority on homes with children? Absolutely, there's a priority with homes with children. So this is what they ask for right here. They're going to ask for your name, your address, your billing address, your email address, a telephone number, your social, your date of birth. If you're a SNAP participant, we also expanded it to folks who are part of the Head Start program. And there was one more thing we can't think of off the top of my head. Let me pull it up. So yeah, you'll have to have proof of the SNAP, Head Start. Oh, I'm sorry, National Lunch Program was the other one. I'm sorry. So if you participate in any of those programs, you qualify for SNAP. So we've extended the qualifications for access. So it is $10 a month, and I'll pull up the access offer here. If everybody can see it. So based on so expanded eligibility is somewhat based on income, but we've bypassed that into households participating, like I said, National School Lunch Program and Head Start programs. There's no commitment, no deposit, no installation fees. You can visit att.com/access or call 1-855-220-5211 and complete the information online. You can do it online to apply, or they can do it over the phone with you. But this is our flyer that we've kind of been handing out and sharing with everyone. And I did email this councilwoman to Maria. I also wanted to share. So here's the, like I said, this is the checklist that they go through. So like I said, I know we've been very accommodating with folks in need, and based on schools are probably going to be starting about, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks. You know, my boys start in the middle of August. Probably want to get this done sooner than later. So,
Tony, I have a few questions that came through the chat.
Okay.
One is, what's the current wait time for installation through the AT&T Access program?
So from my understanding, right now, it's anywhere from 3 to 5 days, depending on the workload that we get in the demand. We haven't had, knock on wood, we haven't had storms that haven't delayed any installations or repairs. So usually by the time it gets processed and an installation date's on, they're about 3 to 5 days out is normal time.
Okay, and the next question is, are there any geographic restrictions for the access program?
No, so it's all gonna, so here's the thing, depends what technology that AT&T offers in your area is what's gonna be available. Some areas may have fiber, some may have UVerse internet, and some may have IP DSL. All of those will qualify that you get. You're just gonna have, it depends geographically where you live and what services are available to you and the speeds.
Tony, can you explain the difference between Digital C program and the AT&T program?
Okay, so Digital C is a nonprofit organization that we are working with. They offer a different type of technology that is wireless. It is, from my understanding, that I'm working with Rolando and Angela Bennett, is wireless rooftop deployment is what they're doing. So it's a wireless internet, and I'm not sure their prices. Don't quote me. I thought they said it was $16 a month for their internet, and I don't know what speeds that they're offering, but they are in different pockets, small pockets of Cleveland offering the service. I want to say Scranton Castle, they just launched services from, so.
And a resident asks also, please share the link to access program on Ward 14 page, and we will definitely do that.
Okay, and I have the have it in Spanish as well, so we can get it to the Spanish-speaking folks. And one last thing, Councilman, I wanted to touch on is we are working with all the school districts, and I wanted to share this flyer with you. I think it's pretty important. So we're working with K through 12 in all of Ohio to get them set and ready for the school year. So we're helping to help efforts connect students. And what we're trying to do is get them those little Wi-Fi hotspots for their homes if they cannot get internet or if they're struggling to. And we're working with the schools to do this. So we're providing them a hotspot at $20 a month. Actually, it's $19 a month for unlimited data connectivity. And then the enterprise traffic protector is $1 a month. So it comes out to the school, $20 a month cost to provide the students these. And I'm not sure, and I can get you in touch with, as I got put on here, Shannon McCaffrey, who's our school liaison, that is trying to get schools connected that need them. Now Cleveland schools, we have a dedicated person for. It's Mark Seidel, and I can get you in touch with Mark and get you his information. But the charter schools and any other schools that he does not cover, Shannon does cover and can get you these Wi-Fis for the schools and set them up. I know the Cleveland Foundation and T-Mobile and all that just announced that they were doing a donation program as well. So I'm not sure if everyone's covered or not, but we're diligently working and offering everything to schools to get them squared away. You know, I got kids, and the company cares about kids, and we don't want to see anybody left behind. So that is another thing we're doing to work with them. So.
Thank you, Tony. And I have a message here. 1964 with the taxes included for Empower Cleve area, which is I-76 to Fulton and I-71 to I-90.
Okay, thanks, Adam.
Yeah, so we have that. So we will definitely share this information on our Council Ward 14 page. We also send out a newsletter. If anyone wants to be included part of that newsletter, just send my office an email, J.Santana@clevelandcitycouncil.org. And so, or just call our office if you want to get on our mailing list. I mean, we're trying to be very diverse with our outreach. We're doing robocalls, we're doing texts, we're doing Facebook, still not good with Instagram. We send out emails. So we know not everyone has internet access, so we're trying to be as diverse as possible in the ward. But thank you, Tony. I don't think anyone else have questions before I give my office updates. No, anything else, Tony, that you want to share before?
That's it. I appreciate your time. Like I said, if you have any questions or concerns, please, Councilwoman, feel free to reach out to me. I'll try to get them pretty quick and getting answers. And I'll do the best I can to try to help everyone out as best as we can through these tough times. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for your time and for your staff helping us.
Thanks.
Okay. So my updates now from Ward 14. Once again, thank you for your patience. I know we're 30 minutes in. There's a lot of information to share. I'm going to try to go as slow as possible. I normally speak fast, but I definitely want you guys to get these resources. Once again, we know that not all of our residents have access to internet. Some don't have phones. That's the reality of families in Ward 14. So I encourage you and I ask you, any information that you hear today, if you could share it with your neighbor, I would really strongly appreciate it. If there's something that's not clear, there's a number maybe that you missed. We are recording this virtual meeting, so we are going to replay it again. But just reach out to my office if you have any questions. 216-664-4238. So that brings me to first, to staff. Due to the pandemic, we are only working in the office twice a week. We actually started this week and there was some COVID cases, and so we had to close down the building again so that we could sanitize it. But please call and leave a message. We don't have direct access to the phone lines, so they are at our office, so you'll have to leave a message and then my staff will return your call within 24 to 48 hours. We check the phones daily, so you definitely will get a call back. And you could also email with your question at miranda@clevelandcitycouncil.org. Some COVID updates, very important. So the latest numbers as of July 23rd that I received today is that there's about 80,000 cases in Ohio. There's been about 3,200 fatalities. In Cleveland, we're up to 4,435 cases, with 83 fatalities, and presumed recovery about 974. So we don't have the numbers for Ward 14. I've asked, it's been very hard because of HIPAA to get that number. But I am being notified by residents that their results have came up positive for COVID. So we know it's happening in the neighborhood and it's spreading rapidly. So the data shows that the Black and brown community are being hit the hardest. And I serve a very diverse ward, so I'm sure Ward 14 is really being affected by COVID. So I strongly encourage you to wear your mask. And this is, with the COVID cases rising, elected officials have just signed legislation instituting a requirement of, masks in certain areas. There's a lot of guidelines to this. You should have received a newsletter if you live in the city of Cleveland. It says Cleveland City Council newsletter. And it has all of the guidelines that, that was approved through city council with this legislation. So, just be mindful, of residents' health. When you go into the businesses, make sure you wear your mask, keep your distance 6 feet, away. And no permits are being allowed from the city. So shouldn't be any events that have massive gatherings being approved because once again, these communities are being affected. COVID is real, and I'm seeing it every day. Personally, right? Just kind of witnessing residents that do have it. So that's enough with the COVID. Balk Week. Balk Week will resume next in the first week of August. Remember, I know we get a lot of those questions. I know it's confusing. It's the first full week of every month, right? So it must start with Sunday and, end with Saturday. It's like full week. And the next one should be August 8th, which is Friday, August 8th for Balk Week. If your garbage, your waste still hasn't been picked up because they were so delayed in June and July, please call our office and we'll schedule a pickup. I mean, there's been residents that have called, it's been about 3 weeks, they haven't picked up the waste. So I strongly encourage you to call our office so that we could submit for pickup. Vacant lots, and this information that I'm sharing, these are based on the calls that we're receiving by residents, okay? So vacant lots, city was out cutting the grass. It was slower than normal, considering the city has been open just probably twice in a week. But they have gotten to the vacant lots in Ward 14. But if you notice any high grass or any abandoned houses that have high grass, please call our office, 216-664-4238, or you could call the city directly, 664-2000. And so they should come out, probably give them a few days, and they will come out and cut the grass. If it's abandoned house and there's a property owner, they will be cited for high grass. Drug houses. This has been probably more like newer calls that we are receiving. Just a substantial rise in drug activity in the neighborhood. We are working with 2nd District Police and Vice Unit, but I ask you to please continue calling the police department directly. I mean, you're not making too many calls. As many calls as you could actually put, and remember, your information is confidential. So you don't have to worry about anyone sharing your information. Every call made is documented, and the more calls that are made, the faster then we're able to build a case against the property that it has the drug activity. So continue to be vigilant, and we are very consistent with these complaints. So we take it, they're very important. Small business resources. So a lot of our businesses were hit with the pandemic, and some of them are struggling, and they were struggling before the pandemic, and even more so now, with the COVID. So we have business resources. Metro West and Tremont CDC are doing a phenomenal job sharing those resources in the Hispanic Business Center. So I strongly, if you want any business resource, especially for financing, please call Metro West 216-961-9073, extension 269. If it's Tremont area, it's 216-575-0902. And also for businesses, each restaurant can have 50 clean kits, mask and hand sanitizer. Destination Cleveland is offering 50 clean kits for each small businesses. So all you have to do is reach out to GOVT Clean Kit. So GOVT Clean Kit at destinationclean.org. Also, my assistant registered many of the local restaurants. So you should receive your kit within about 2 to 3 weeks. If you don't receive it, you could also call our office if you don't feel comfortable, you don't understand how to apply through this GovT Clean Kit, and we will register your business. Any questions? I know there's a lot of information I'm sharing. I'm going to check in the, no, I don't have questions yet. Okay, that's fine. So summer events, I know everyone's stuck at home. We were gonna initially cancel all of our events, but we realized kids, right, need to do something in the summertime, being that Cleveland has only summer about 3 months. So one of the events that we are hosting today is movie drive-in, which I am here right now at City Life. The movie starts at 8:30. We are taking every precautions regarding, for the COVID guidelines, and families are encouraged to stay in the car, but we will be offering free snacks and free drinks. And you just park outside from City Life, which is located on Trowbridge Avenue. Today's movie is going to be Ice Age, and we are excited. It's our first drive-in the ward, and right now they're setting up and everything's looking very nice. The sun came out. I'm glad it's not raining. So I encourage you, if you have nothing to do, to bring your family today and enjoy this drive-in movie night. There's a lot of things happening, and I wish I could share it with you today. I know we only have about 30 more minutes, but please, I strongly encourage you to like J.Santana Ward 14 Council page. we put all the latest updates, and we provide a lot of resources for residents here. So please just go, if you could even do it now, go to Facebook and, you know, like Jasmine Santana Ward 14 Council page. This Saturday, porch party in the Jones Home area. Special thanks, I want to thank the Jones Home Historic District Group for coordinating, and the COVID guidelines will strictly be enforced. So these are porch parties where families will actually be gathering on their porch and keeping distance away from other families. So that, you know, lots of fun there. And we have, you know, other events going. Once again, it's just too much to share, but reach out to our office. We have a SEEDS program launching, which I am very passionate about. It's Women Development workshop, and I think the program manager is on the call right now, but we are it's gonna switch. It was done in person, but it's now done, it's gonna be done virtually. So from, you know, from your own home, women could apply and take, you know, the personal, professional development right from, you know, their living room. And so if you want more information on that, you could call our office, 216-664-4238. So now 2020 street resurfacing. So we have 6 streets that were rated F in the ward. I wish we could do more, but we get limited budgets. So we narrowed it down to 6 F streets. Please know that the first layer has been laid down. Allow a few weeks. You know, we've been getting the calls like, oh, they did a terrible job on the street. Well, that's the first layer. So allow a few weeks for the second phase. This would include the ADA ramps and the final asphalt course material installation. So I would say already by the end of August, your street should be completed. And that's not the case, or you feel like they did a terrible job, please contact our office. Alleys a huge issue, very challenging in the ward. Many residents don't really even access alleys, but some residents do because they have their garage back there. As a friendly reminder, we would like to ensure that everyone's alley is maintained. The city occasionally comes out and cleans some of this overgrowth in the alley, and they did that last year, but it is the residents, homeowners, and tenants' responsibility to maintain behind their home. So a letter went out just warning all the residents, especially the ones where their alleys were cleaned out last year. And, you know, you have a certain amount of time, I would say about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we will be going around inspecting the alleys, and homeowners will be cited if there's overgrowth. If you're a senior and if you're disabled or you're low income, you know, we understand, so please contact our office for more resources. We do have some resources available, but we really want to open up those alleys. I mean, you know, it's just safer for kids. And I know a lot of that attracts rodents. And so a lot of residents complain, especially if they work hard to maintain their area in the alley. So I hope you understand. Master plan. So many of you have heard a lot about the Clark Fulton master plan. We were hoping, right, to meet in person and finalize the master plan by October. It's not going to happen due to pandemic, but we have hosted several focus groups online with stakeholders, and the next step are with residents. So we have recruited 15 ambassadors from different neighborhoods, not just the Clark Fulton neighborhood, from Stockyard, from Brooklyn Center, from Tremont, you know, all the way up to, you know, West 73rd area. And so they will be spreading the words of like master plan meetings, the resources that are going out, collecting data on what you want to see in the neighborhood. We want to make sure that this master plan really is diverse and reflects the needs of the neighborhood and the ward. So we're working very hard to share this information and spread the word. We don't want just the same residents, you know, being at the table and voicing what they want to see in the neighborhood. We want new residents to come on board and really share, you know, what are their needs in the neighborhood. So if you have any more questions on that, you could call Metro West at 216-961-9073 and extension 272. And then lastly, what I have is, you know, census. The census turnout in our neighborhood is is very poor. We have about 20% that have responded. And as you know, census surveys, it's our schools, it's our parks, it's our rec centers that suffer. So I ask you to please take 5 minutes to complete the census. And it's quick, it's about 8 minutes. And if you need help with that, you could call our office. We have enough resources to get someone to drop it off to you. If you don't understand it, we have someone that could actually help you even by the phone. So I just kind of leave with this, the pandemic definitely challenged us, but we have enough committed local leaders to build bridges and one another and have really stepped up to serve our community. I want to thank Metro Health, Cleveland Hope Exchange, Journey Church, POPC, even firefighters, Local 93 firefighters have stepped up to drop off food to residents and police officers, just kind of guiding traffic when food events are going on. May Dugan, just really serving thousands and thousands of families. Food distribution and also hygiene products. Tremont West, handling small business resources. Metro West, you're doing a phenomenal job in serving the families in our neighborhood. So this is all the information I have, and I thank you for joining, and I'm gonna kind of leave it open for a few questions if you guys have. I know that was a lot of information I shared, but if something I didn't answer, please just let me know. We're not first time warning rather than, yeah. So yes, so we sent out a notice already. If you didn't receive it and you're from probably like the Jones Home area, we did send out a letter about a week ago. So we're gonna give it some time. And you know what, and I walk around the neighborhood, so we could definitely, also talk to them. And we understand some people, they're disabled, they're senior, they can't get back there. So we do have a green space crew that comes out and helps. But if you can and you're healthy and you have the resources to do it, we just ask that you maintain your alley. But we did send out a letter. Okay, so yes, so the city provided that information to us. We know that certain areas that are very low, like Stockyard, the response is very low and completing their census. So that's an area that we are targeting. It's hard because our initial plan was to canvass the area and knock on doors. Because of COVID, we can't do that. So there's some billboards, there's some posters put up, there's some calls being made. There's a team out there, Metro West is doing a great job. Just, there's a census team that are out there just kind of thinking innovatively, how could they reach the residents and encourage them to complete their census. Okay, any other questions? If there's any agencies, we still have some time. If you want to, maybe share something from your organization that would benefit the residents in Ward 14, please feel free. I could unmute you and then you could share some information. Okay, Oh, no, you can't. Sorry about that. So to answer Janice's question, are these committees working virtually on the plan? Yes. So we have 15 ambassadors that are currently going through training, and so they're going to be sharing with their neighbors when these dates of, any type of community meetings are taking place. Well, virtual community meetings. We wish that we could do it in person, but once again, we can't. So we're trying everything that we can to hear as much voices that we can. Any other questions? Is there any agencies that want to share any information? Okay, so I could share this for you, Miriam. So Cleveland Clinic will be hosting their first 5 mammogram clinics at Lutheran Hospital beginning August 25th. So they will be happy to schedule and help those with barriers such as transportation and lack of insurance. You're taking me back home, Miriam, to work at Metro Health with the mammograms, and I'm so happy that the hospitals continue doing screenings, breast screenings.
Yeah, so this will be the first of 5 that we're going to have, and we're going to have a COVID process in place. So what we've heard from the community over and over again is that our patients are scared to come into health facilities. And so we're trying to cut down on the amount of time that people spend in the hospital. So we're going to have a curbside approach, curbside check-in for you, where we will be meeting you literally at the door. We will do all of the check-in paperwork. You will touch nothing. We will provide a mask. We will provide hand sanitation. You'll have an escort to take you into the building, take you to the mammography suite, take you back out once you are done, so that you spend the minimal amount of time that you are to spend in the facility itself. And so we're looking to try this out. We're going to be having this in different locations throughout the city, including the east side and as far out west as Lorraine. So I'll be hoping to share the flyers as soon as we get those, and I should have ours by next week.
Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you.
Any other organization? I think we just, okay, who's coming on?
Oh, it's Adam.
Hi, Adam.
So I just wanted to let people know that Metro West received some funding to provide services for some seniors. So we have the capacity over the course of the next year to provide seniors with food, with Meals on Wheels delivery, with mental health activities for seniors, and for toiletries, any kind of hygiene products. So if anybody knows any senior that is in need of any of those things, please feel free to give us a call, and we will connect them.
All right, thank you, Adam. And that reminds me, so this Saturday, there's going to be a food giveaway at Journey Church located on Trowbridge and Fulton Avenue. We did develop a system for families that can't come out, they don't have transportation. And this is where we partner with our firefighters to drop off food and deliver food to, of course, the most vulnerable. So if you're interested in that, once again, it's on my Facebook page where you sign up, or you could just call my office, 216-664-4238. It is Thursday, so we would have to hear from you by tomorrow, so we could add you to the list of deliveries for this Saturday. Any other? All right. I kind of see here that Senator Williams is trying to log on, but she's not connecting. I was going to give her a few minutes to talk, introduce herself, but I don't know, must have logged back off. So maybe we'll have her for the next call. Yeah. Anyone else before I log off? And I know it's 6:55. We still have 5 minutes. And anything, if you want to kind of put it on the chat, what you want me to cover next time. I know this was a lot of information. Most of the information I shared was based on the calls that we received from our residents. So we just kind of want them to be informed. I normally am a council member who's out there in the summertime and, knocking on doors and, gathering on porch. We can't do that anymore. So it's been very difficult and challenging and kind of frustrating to me not to be able to share my information in person. But we know that these Zooms don't, doesn't definitely reach many of our residents. But once again, if you guys could share, I appreciate it. And if you could just be patient with our office. All right, well, I don't see any other questions and no other organizations maybe want to give an update. So I'm just gonna leave it here and then start going and enjoy my drive-in movie night. So once again, if you're interested, bring your family today. The sun is out and come out and enjoy movie night. Thank you for your partnership and thank you for all the residents being, on the call, taking time. And thank you in advance for sharing it with your neighbor. Have a good day.